So today Autel announced several new drones, among them the Autel Nano series, which would compete directly against the DJI Mini 2. So in this video we'll do a quick comparison of the two drones versus the Mini 2, so don't go away. Hey guys, Mike here and welcome back to the channel. So let's get straight into it. The Autel Nano comes in two flavors and they're almost identical to each other, with a couple of main specs that differentiate them, being the sensor size of the camera and the inclusion of obstacle avoidance. In one of the drones you have a smaller sensor and no obstacle avoidance. This is the model that would most closely compete with the Mini 2. The sensor on the camera is a 1/2 inch, which compares quite favourably with the Mini 2's 1/2.3 inch sensor, being about 10% bigger. So Autel have made it slightly better, but not by heaps. The aperture is fixed at 2.8, which is the same as the aperture on the Mini 2. Now this model of the Nano also doesn't have obstacle avoidance, which again is the same as the Mini 2. Everything else compares in a very similar way. The battery life is about the same at 30 minutes, and the range at 6.2 miles, which converts to around 10 kilometers, and the weight at 249 grams, keeping it under that crucial 250 gram benchmark. As for the other Nano model, this is where Autel have really stepped things up against the Mini 2, and also to possibly combat the Mini 3 if and when that arrives. In this model, they've included a 1/1.28 inch sensor, which is considerably larger, roughly 3 times bigger than the sensor on the Mini 2. Now, this in itself would provide a massive leap in image quality, and if photography or videography is a really important use of the Mini 2 for you, then it may well be worth getting this Nano model for that alone. Now, another thing to note is the aperture of f1.9, which would drastically improve the camera's performance in low light conditions. The next major thing that Autel have included in this Nano model is the addition of obstacle avoidance sensors. This has been one of, if not the most requested feature for the Mini 2 or for its potential successor, the Mini 3. It's been a massive discussion topic on many of my videos, and opinion is divided between those who really want it versus those who say, actually, just be a better pilot. Now, I think the main argument for obstacle avoidance is probably more around its functionality when combined with any form of active tracking of subjects. We know that Evo 2 drones feature omnidirectional high-speed obstacle avoidance technology by creating real-time 3D maps of the environment, as well as automatic path planning, and can recognize up to 64 subjects at once. Now, this drone doesn't have omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, but it does have front, rear, and downward facing sensors. And this drone does indeed have the ability to track subjects, which is great news for those people who want to use this functionality to capture themselves or other moving objects to include in their videos. Now, this comes included with a bunch of other smart functions, and I'll get into the detail of those in another video. The Nano series of drones comes in 4 colors: Autel Orange, Arctic White, Deep Space Grey, and Blazing Red. Now, I really like the red and the orange, and being the highly fashion-forward trendsetter that I am, I'll probably go ahead and order the grey one. So spec for spec, on paper at least, the Nano models stack up really well against the Mini 2, and of course against the Mavic Mini and Mini SE as well. The base model Nano, you could argue, is slightly better given its slightly larger camera sensor, while the upper model is definitely superior spec-wise, as it includes a much bigger sensor with a larger aperture, as well as the inclusion of the much anticipated obstacle avoidance sensors. So that's all well and good, but the proof will be in the pudding, and whether the drones perform well in real life. DJI have built up a reputation of being consistent, reliable, and of building good quality products, and won't be having any thoughts of giving up their #1 spot just yet. But out of any competitor out there, Autel are probably the ones that are pushing DJI the hardest. They are themselves building a track record of producing good quality products and of being innovative and of testing new technology, and I'm sure they'll continue to improve over time as well. Now I'm keen to get my hands on one of these drones and test them out for myself. So there's plenty more to come yet. This is just the initial news. As we know more, I'll be sure to bring you that detail, so in order to not miss out on that, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.